How you all doing, guys? Brandon here from VanClan. Thank you for checking out this video. It's much appreciated. Now, if you've clicked on this video, you're probably considering a wrap for your van or your camper. And we get a lot of questions over on Instagram regarding this. So what we're going to do is go over the pros, the cons, the reasons, the pricing, and why you should and probably shouldn't wrap your van. So this is one of the first episodes of our conversion series. So our conversion series is going to be about why we picked up a micro camper all the way up to what we've done to it, and everything in between is going to be like the sound deadening, why we've wrapped it, why we've chose a certain insulation, and how we've built it to the way we want it. So those of you that have panel vans, this is still going to apply to you, and those with small micro campers. Everything is going to be covered here in terms of why you should and shouldn't wrap your van. Now, wrapping, there's a ton of pros and cons, and you're going to have to take a budget in mind. You're going to have to come up with a design, but we'll go through all of that now. But before we jump into the pros and cons of wrapping your camper van, I want to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, who is Raid Shadow Legends. If you're on the road and a little bored while your partner drives to your local camp spot, this game might be for you. Raid is a turn-based RPG done right. In case you've been living off-grid for the last couple of months, Raid is the sensation of the mobile world and the RPG that changed everything. The game is crazy popular with almost 50 million downloads in the last 6 months, and it's available free on iOS and Android. Plus, you can play with over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. The game is growing incredibly fast, and check out this cool little roadmap that they've published. With this comes some big updates planned over the next 6 months. If you're interested, go to the video description below, click on the special links, and you will instantly get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion within a week as part of the new player program. So a big thank you to Raid for helping us make this video. Now let's jump straight into the pros of why you should wrap your camper. Now, as mentioned before, take into consideration your budget, what design you want, because what's going to happen is if you want to get your camper wrapped, you're probably going to need to go to a specialist and come up with a template. Now, some specialists will help you with your design. They will charge you, but some may take a bit of money off the price if you've already came up with a design. So even if it's going into Photoshop, getting the side of your van and drawing stuff on it, do that. This will give them some ideas and inspiration on how they're going to do it and how they're going to price up your camper. So let's jump right in. We have a VW Caddy Maxi that we have wrapped, as you are seeing now. This is called a partial wrap. This is not a full wrap. This is just wrapping a small percentage of the van. So partial wraps will be a lot cheaper compared to full-blown wraps on a Mercedes Sprinter, for example. So we've gone for quite a small wrap on a small vehicle. Now, the pros to having a wrap on any vehicle is that it adds character. Now, I think one of the best things you can do to your conversion to really make it pop, if you want it to shine on Instagram, be different, or even go to attend shows, I think a partial wrap will really make your camper conversion pop. Plus, it means you can add a bit of your style. For example, we've gone with trees and mountains along the side of ours. We've seen graphics, logos. You can even create your own illustrations should you want to. So if you are an artist, you can add that to your van whatsoever. You just need to make consider that where you use your designs, how will it change regarding the template of your van? Does your van have full-blown windows? So you might have to adjust your wrap around that. Does it go black up the side and then white on the windows? Again, you'll have to take that into consideration when doing it, but it adds character. You can buy templates online or you can make your own. I really advise making your own because it then makes it feel like it's your camper. Coming up as well is another pro. It protects your vehicles from chips and scratches. Now, you're probably thinking, how the hell is a tiny bit of vinyl wrap going to affect chips? Now, you may have seen on some vehicles, they have like these chip protectors along their bonnets. A wrap will actually help chips and scratches on your camper. Now, most of us out there who are into, weekend trips away in a camper or even living in it full time, we don't have the most expensive vehicle on the market. We usually have second-hand jobbies that are quite cheap and affordable that we can convert. But some of you out there may have quite expensive rigs. So having a wrap around the front like ours, we've gone along the bumper and on the top of the bonnet, which you can see here, which actually protects it slightly from chips and scratches. What will happen though is that it will just chip the vinyl and not actually scratch your paintwork on your camper, which is always nice, meaning that you don't have to splash a load of money. If it's just a section of your wrap, you can redo it. So if ours scratched our wrap on the bonnet, we can just take off that bit and get it replaced should we need to. So it's a lot cheaper than actually taking away an actual chip on a paintwork. And that leads me into the next pro, is that wrapping your van is a lot cheaper than repainting your van. So if you're looking to add a new color to your van, even if it is a micro van, a small one, or a panel van, you will know that this price is extortionate, and a lot of garages do overcharge for this, whereas rewrapping it will make it a lot more affordable. Obviously, if you want to sell your van in the long run, it will obviously sell for a lot more if it's repainted, because it just looks better and it's better quality. Whereas a rewrap, if you do have a second-hand van like us and you don't mind selling it cheaper on in a few years time, then a rewrap is going to be a lot more affordable. Plus, if you don't like the color of your rewrap after a few months or even a couple of years, just take it off. You can take off the wrap at home using a hair dryer if needed, and you can actually pull back and peel it off the wrap to your original color. So you do have like a choice, whereas repainting, if you go to a solid color, it's going to cost you a lot more money again to get it back to the original color. So rewrapping is definitely a more affordable way, and if you don't like it, just take off the wrap and you're ready to go with your original color. Now, with any situation or doing anything with your camper, there's pros and cons for everything. So there are a few cons when it comes to wrapping your camper. Now, it's not cheap. I'd mentioned it's cheaper than repainting, but it's still not cheap. So our partial wrap here cost us £700, which is about $1,000 US, and that's for a partial wrap. Now, a full wrap on this micro camper probably would have been double that. So if you imagine a panel van, you're looking upwards to $2,000, $2,500 for a full panel van. For example, a Mercedes Sprinter or a VW Crafter, it's going to be up there in $2,000 plus if you want a full wrap. So again, it's quite expensive. It's not something you do just off a whim. This is something you're probably going to need to save for a few months, several months, if you've got a full panel van to afford. But it does look cool when it's on. And with any installation and paying someone to do it, it comes, you basically pay for what you get. If someone's charging you £1,000 for a full panel van wrap, you know it's not going to be the best quality. And you can go into different materials used in these vinyl wraps. We went for something called 3M, which is very durable and it's versatile, but a lot of companies, if you want it on the cheap, will put cheap vinyl wraps on. So do take that in mind when you want to wrap your van. Is it a partial wrap or is it a full-blown wrap? And that will come into your design as well. Now, as mentioned, cheap wraps will wear, so that's another con. If you're going for a cheap wrap, it will wear over time. Chips and bumps will tear it. It will start to degrade in color in the sun. It's small things like that that you'll need to take into consideration when getting your van wrapped. It's, do you go the expensive route or do you go the cheap route? Like, what do you want? The cheap route, I'll be honest, like it will look good for, let's say, a year or so. But if you want it for 3, 4, 5 years, you will need to go down with more expensive material because that thing just lasts. Now, with any modifications to a camper van, to this extent, you will need to notify your government should you go for a full-blown wrap. If majority of your van is changing color, you will need to contact the government or the DVLA to let them know that the color of your van has changed. So it's not as simple as getting a wrap and not telling anyone, because you could find yourself getting quite a hefty fine should you have changed the color and not told the government. So take that into mind if you are doing a full-blown wrap. Now, if you are doing a full-blown wrap or even with a partial wrap, don't do it yourself. This is something that you will need to get professionals to do. Admittedly, putting on a sticker is fine, like a small section of your van in wrap is fine. Anything over like a couple of foot, get in a professional because they will do it very, very well, and you won't get any problems with like scratching your van, or for example, I know a few that have had their headlights or around their headlights wrapped, which means the headlights will need to come out to make the wrap look smooth, and sometimes they get that wrong or something happens with the headlights. So if you are getting it done, don't do it DIY. A lot of things in the van life community can be done on your own. Admittedly, you can do the wrap on your own if you want, but I can guarantee you that it will start to unstick, things will start to peel off, and it just won't look very good. So getting a professional done is something that you'll need to do if you want a wrap, which can be a pain and obviously costs money. And finally, if your vehicle is leased, some companies may not let you wrap your van. So definitely contact them before you do this wrap or plan to do the wrap, because some of them may say no. Some may come up with some rubbish saying that it may change your vision or it makes proof hard when you crash your vehicle and try to make a claim. Who knows? But I know some companies do basically decline your offer for modifying your panel van. Now, small partial wraps I think is just fine. You don't have to let them know, because you can basically pull it off in a couple of hours should you want to. But a full-blown wrap, you will need to contact them, because it may bite you in the bum further down the line when you want to make a claim, because they may say, nope, they have modified the van out of our consent. We're not offering any money to help you with this claim. So that is probably the most important thing you have to do when you do fully wrap your van if it is leased, because that can cause legal issues down the line. So that is probably one of the biggest cons of them all. But personally for me, overall, it's just a great way to make your van look different. Like for some of you out there, I know you live full time in your van, so making your home look a lot neater, it just gives it a lot more character. And for those of you that may be digital nomads or content creators, making your van look good will look good on Instagram should you want that. But overall, it just adds character, it makes it look good, and it makes it feel a bit more like yours. So our van, which is a VW Caddy Maxi, which I say is a micro camper, it's a very small van, that took around 8 hours to install, and that's a partial wrap. So you can imagine if you have a VW Crafter or a Mercedes Sprinter and want a full wrap, this will probably take 2 to 3 days should you get a professional to install it. So if you do live in your van, that's 2 to 3 days without your van or someone working on your van. So take that into consideration as well if you do want to install a wrap. So there you have it, a few ideas, pros and cons. Like, should you get your van wrapped? 100% yes, it looks great, but definitely take a few things into consideration if you want to. And if you want some help or advice or inspiration on how to wrap your van or how to do it, definitely hit us up on Instagram or Twitter, and we will get back to you with advice on how we done ours and who we went to, etc., and how much you should be quoting. So there you go. Thank you again for checking out this video. Hit subscribe if you want to see more conversion episodes, because there's a lot to do in our van, and I can't wait to show you what it looks like once it's finished. As per usual, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.